Hey, it's Garth Weber with another story for you. This one's about my first ever recording session as a guitar player. Probably 1976, I was 22 years old, and I got a phone call one day, and I don't remember who called me or how they came to know of me. But they said, would you be interested in doing a recording session at Applewood Studio in Denver? And that was the best studio in the state. So yes, of course. So I showed up. I walked in the studio and I loved it. I loved it when I saw the inside of a studio. Beautiful wood, the control room, and the whole thing was just, I was in heaven. So I picked a place to sit. There were several chairs set up and music stands in front of the chairs. So I just picked one, sat down, put my amp next to me, I guess. Don't really remember, but I think that's what happened. And the rest of the musicians arrived, and we were all sitting there. And out of the control room comes the producer. And he started walking around the room, and I was maybe somewhere in the middle of the room. So he started to the right of me. Maybe there were 2 or 3 guys to the right of me, and he was putting music, paper music, sheet music in their music stands. And I panicked because I don't read music. To this day, I don't read music. I'm even just lame at reading a simple chord chart. I'm terrible at it. So I waited until he got to me, and then I tried to tell him. I said, I really don't, and he just walked off. He just ignored me. And so I picked up this chart and I looked at it, and it was clearly a very simple part. I worked out that it was a C octave. That was the only notes that I was going to have to play, and it was very busy. It was a real busy part, a lot of notes. So I reasoned it out. I said, because in those days the news theme, this was a Channel 2 news theme session, and in those days the news themes were based on the sound of the teletype machine, which is how news was transmitted at one point. And so it was always beep 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 beep, and so I thought it must be something in that family. It must be something kind of like that. So the producer walked back in the control room, and he just said, "Okay, here we go." And there was like no rehearsal, nothing, no like playing a little bit to get the balance right in the headphones. None of that. It was just, we're going to count the song, and here we go. And so they did. They counted 1, 2, 3, 4. I went. I did that for essentially 3 minutes, until we stopped. And the producer came over the talkback mic and said, "Okay, thank you, we got it." And I was like, wow, we're done? I mean, I expected, to be there for a little while. And so he came back out of the control room and he started gathering up the sheet music in the same order that he had distributed it in. And when he got to me, he looked at me and he said, "Hey man, nice job, you're a good reader." And I said, "No, I don't, actually, I don't," and he walked off. I didn't follow him into the control room and said, "Hey, wait a minute, I don't read." I figured I'm getting away with murder here. So I got paid and I left. And that was my first recording session ever.